Welcome everyone to episode 372 of Just Joshing. I am your host, Joshua Pantellaresco. I write stuff in podcasts too. Today, Chris Carolan returns to the podcast. This was originally going to be Brian Tan tonight. We're going to be rescheduling that for a later date. However, Chris, unbelievably talented man, good dude. We had a really cool talk about, what happened during this time in COVID, the opportunities it gave him. He still hasn't seen Harry Potter. Spoiler for inside the conversation. He admits it on the air, I promise. That all said, Chris is one of my favorite people. He's just a good guy, and he roots for quite a few people in the creative community, me included. I need to acknowledge him in the book. I actually do. Yeah, Chris, I'm probably going to acknowledge you in my next book. I just now that I think about it, I should do it. No, he's a good guy, and I really love this conversation. All right, the Cloud Diver has, I think, officially done well. I can talk about marketing approaches. I can talk about just different things. But all in all, I learned an awful lot about marketing this month, and next month I'm going to continue the marketing campaign for the Cloud Diver as I move into Kobo and a few other booksellers, so people can get it. I think it's going to be Kobo, Chapters, and a few other places anyway. And that's kind of the goal from here. I learned an awful lot about marketing. Now I'm taking it to the next step. I'm teaching myself SEO, search engine optimization. So just stay tuned. The website's going to be updated tonight and also Thursday. Probably do a new launch on the website Saturday or next Tuesday. Probably next Tuesday. We'll see next Tuesday. Got some deadlines I'm handling. All in all, it's moving. Slower than I'd like. It's like in some ways, but I mean, Rome isn't built in a day. And oh yeah, I got another book to announce soon too. But anyways, let's just get to that conversation with Chris, shall we?
This episode of Just Joshing is sponsored by Indie Imprint. Indie Imprint supports creators by creators. Whether you are writing a book or creating a video game, Indie Imprint works with its clients to produce, edit, and present their projects to the world. For more information, check out their website at www.indieimprint.com.
Okay, yeah. So my family's here. My family's all here. So for me, I turned the recorder on, so you know that right now. So for me, it was like, well, how did I want to spend this time? I could have my job, be miserable in the place I'm at because I now can't work in the film industry there.
Right. Yep.
Or I could go see my family and be gainfully unemployed because I can't transfer. Okay, I'll see my family and be gainfully unemployed.
Good. Well, seeing family's good for sure anyway.
Well, it's funny too because I've started freelancing. My goal for my first month was to make $200 as a freelancer. I have some money saved up. My goal is for like $200, and turns out, I made that in 10 days. It's like, okay, I could possibly keep doing this. Now, my goal now for the rest of this month is to see how much I can actually make, and then every month I try to match or beat it.
Right.
Right, because, I realize, this might seem like the craziest time of the year to do this. Crazy time to do it, but one of the things is, I realize is, the life you want to live, whatever that life is, you have to look at the time. It doesn't really matter what's going on around you. If you really want to do something, you have to really try. Now, obviously, there are some limitations about right now, but they're not all bad. You just got to recognize, you just have to recalibrate yourself to be like, okay, what can I do now? Right? What skills do I have? What can I sell today? And if it makes people think I'm a hustler, well, I kind of am, aren't I?
Well, isn't that the gig economy in a nutshell?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I see it. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but, in comparison, I think to most people, my mental health, I am the sane one. I never thought I'd be the sane one.
Yeah.
How did that happen, Chris?
I think the rest of the world went nuts. We were all asleep, and then I don't know what happened.
Okay, so you all went nuts. I was already nuts, so it didn't do anything to me.
Yeah, just put you in step. I don't know.
Exactly. It's like, wait, you're the norm. Oh, fuck, what the hell did we step into?
Yeah.
But, it's definitely a strange time. I'm not going to say it's not a strange time, but it's weird because, I look at it and I actually think this is a glorious opportunity because, okay, for example, you're a very intelligent man. I'm a very intelligent man. We might disagree about a whole bunch of stuff, but at the same point, we can still sit there and talk about how we can want to make things better going forward. And the fact of the matter is, we have the time to do that.
Yeah, some of us anyway.
Yes, some of us do. A lot of us do, though. A lot of us do. Not everybody, but a lot of us do.
A lot of people are finding themselves with a lot more time than they're used to having, so...
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to come out of it.
I hope better things. There's some things that make me go, yes. There's some things that make me go, boo. But, I think that's every situation. There's some things you're like, this sucks. Other things you're like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. How have you handled this?
It's been a little strange. I became a father 10 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The world is a very different place than it was before this child was born.
Yes, it was.
So it's, I was already thrown into the deep end trying to find whatever the new normal was going to be. And I still don't know what next week, the week after, next month, or 6 months from now is going to look like.
But isn't that always, in one sense, hasn't that always really been true? I think if anything, this makes that truth just more apparent.
Oh, definitely. It's, we've kind of been living on the edge of, what's the analogy I'm going for here? We've been living on the edge of two realities for a while and not knowing which way we're going to fall off. And I think a lot more people are starting to realize just how on the edge everything is or was, or what's it going to be? Who knows, right?
Well, yeah. Well, like I said, I went through my own hard times 10 years ago, and I realized that the line between have and have not is incredibly razor thin. It's super razor thin, and once you realize that, then you just realize that there's always an edge to life. And the one thing I think adversity does is it brings certain things to clarity, right? Like there's a sense of urgency. There's a sense of that you have a heightened sense of now. Once you realize that, hey, tomorrow's not guaranteed, and then you realize, and once you realize that, you can make yourself bring out some of the best parts of you can come out, and the parts that are competitive, heroic, noble. Flip side too, you can also bring out the worst in people as well.
Definitely, yeah, I'd agree with that.
Mm-hmm. So what have you learned and discovered about yourself in this time?
Let's see. Yesterday was actually kind of a rough day. I think yesterday was I've been working from home for about 4 weeks now, actually today. 4 weeks working at home as of today. And my day job is very much a boots on the ground kind of thing that I do. It's about 95% of what I do, I have to be at work to do it. So I've been doing a lot of different tasks that can be done remotely. They found some alternate duties for me. They found some projects that I can work on from home, just because I'm not actually at work. So I've been a little bit thrown in the deep end, and I've had to be quite self-directed, which I've always been pretty good at being self-directed, but never quite to this extent. And it's been a bit of an eye-opener, and I think I've done quite well with it. it's also a little strange. Like I said, we had a child 2 months ago. I was not expecting to be home. I took a couple of weeks off work when the kid was born. That was great. Went back to work, and I thought that was going to be the way it was going to be. And, I'd see my son when I came home from work and play with him in the evenings and put him to bed, that kind of thing. So, being home during the day, but not really being here because I'm in the basement working on data entry or whatever it is they have me doing on that particular day is a little bit of a weird curveball. To know he's, basically 20 feet away from me in a straight up direction. But it's been a little bit eye-opening and weird and fantastic and wonderful. And, I'm getting a very different experience of early fatherhood than I would have if not for coronavirus.
Well, this is true.
Yeah.
But there's from your perspective, there's a really, you're working. Yeah, you're downstairs for however long you're downstairs. Same token.
That's about 8 hours a day, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Same token, you're there a lot.
Yeah.
And you get to see a lot of things. Like, if you were working normally, you'd miss some of the things you're seeing now.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
100%.
So, in one sense, for you, this has been a blessing in disguise.
It has. It very much has. I'm not happy for the way that it came about, but having this time, and, I can pop up on my lunch break and give my kid a bottle or take him for a walk around the block or, even just play with him for half an hour on my lunch break. And that's not anything I would have been able to do had I been going to the office. So, yeah, it has been wonderful and weird in a lot of ways. And I'm very thankful to have had the opportunity, but I'm not thankful for the way it came around, if that makes any sense.
No one asked for bad things to happen. No one does. Right? No one does. But on the same token, okay, for example, my little bit of gratitude. I see my dad every day. He right? I haven't been able to do that in 15 years. But I've been right. So for me, this now. There's going to come a point about 3 or 4 months from now, we will start to drive each other crazy because I'm not a boy anymore. I'm a man. He's a man, and we have our own lives, and we have our own ways of doing things. But right now, it's great. I get to be around my dad again, and we get to talk and reminisce about things every day, and I'm getting to spend time with people I care about, and also, just this end, I've had the opportunity to talk to some incredible people these last few weeks, yourself. I got to talk to Dave Butler for the first time. I got to talk to Travis Hansen. These people normally are on the road this time of year.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Of course.
And I'm like, I get this opportunity. And I'm getting bolder, too. I'm like, you know what? Well, why not try Brendan Sanderson? Why not try Lights? Why not try all these other big names? All I need is the one yes. And
oh, fantastic.
Yes. So now it's back. I got it back. Woohoo! But no, So, like I said, there's these opportunities. Like, we all have these little opportunities for these quiet moments, and no one wants the world to be like this. There are parts of it I really like, and I think, again, going forward, there's some really good opportunities to reconsider how things are done. Right, and I think when we get through the initial phase of, like I said, the Prime Minister said we're going to start restrictions might be starting to be released in a few weeks, which I could see start to happen. If that's the case, you know what? It's going to be a very different world when we start coming out of this, and so, like, for example, an office building doesn't quite have the same value it once did. A lot of work can be done at home. Not all of it, obviously, but more than most people realize.
Oh, definitely.
so that's going to be rethought of. And there's a few other things that are going to happen as well. And you look at that and you say to yourself, you know what? Unfortunately, this is just the nature of, I think, of how human beings work. We get comfortable in doing things a certain way. And when we hit that comfort zone, we never think about how it could be different or could be better. But when we're put into
that's the way we've always done it.
Yes, exactly. So sometimes a bad thing can lead to a lot of great things afterwards. And it's just sadly we do need that push of adversity from time to time to make us reevaluate how we've been doing things.
Or break up a comfortable situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? I wouldn't wish this on anybody. But on the same token, it's like, well, maybe when we come out of this, we'll be smarter. Some things I've seen make me kind of realize maybe we won't. And that depresses me a little bit. But I mean, we've all been put into this uncomfortable situation. So now the challenge is, can we learn and grow from it, or while we're here?
That would be the ideal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that is you can always hope for the ideal.
Yep.
Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I mean, again, I don't want to be cynical, and I don't have any alcohol with me right now, so I can't drown my dark thoughts in sorrow. But the thing is, like that's it. Like you hope for the best, prepare for the worst, and hope. And usually, what happens is it's somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. Yeah.
So that's what we hope for. That's what we hope for. So what games do you play with your kid?
Well, he's a little young for games as such. Like we're obviously not playing Dungeons and Dragons yet. We're not playing Arkham or anything like that. And his hands are too small for controller, so we're not playing Skyrim yet. But we play the nose game.
Yes.
Well, I touch my nose, and I say nose. And I touch his nose, and I say nose, and he laughs. And eventually he'll learn that nose means nose.
So once he knows what nose is, then you gotta pretend you steal it.
Exactly. Yeah, we've done that a few times, and he's not quite there yet. He hasn't quite figured out the "I got your nose" yet.
It's okay. When he figures it out, he's gonna steal yours. That'll be the plan. Right. That'll be the plan. You'll steal your nose, and then you get to act like outraged and dignified, and they'll love it. So.
Of course.
Of course.
I'll call the police, and if you call the police and report a stolen nose, then we'll turn into a whole thing.
Into just like this epic thing we see on University News. Local hooligan Chris Carolan lost his nose to his son. Cops respond. Try not to laugh.
Oh, it'll be incredible.
Yes, you got to think bigger, go home. That is how it works. Hey, bud, congrats on your novel. It's actually it's pretty good.
Thank you very much. You've had a chance to read it?
I've started reading it. As you've seen since this whole quote unquote apocalypse has started, I've been doing all kinds of various activities to keep people's spirits up. And one of the things I did was, I'm just letting my listeners know, is I actually went on my Facebook board and I put a little contest out there. It says, recommend me a book. But if you're an author, you have to recommend somebody else's. So one of the more popular recommendations was Chris's book, right? Huh. Yeah, you got some of the highest level of likes. You didn't get you got the highest amount of likes actually for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, well, I want to get your book anyway. But it was just like one of those situations where it's like, okay, I want to see what everybody else does. And I looked at the list. It was like, so I bought yours. I bought Stacey Overby's, which I thought was really cool because she actually is an addictions counselor working in this time. It's like, okay, I'll support that. And it's an opportunity for me to give my whole approach has been to this whole time has been either to build people up, give what I can, and just help out in what ways I possibly can. And that's been my whole strategy, and this was one of the ways I thought of doing that. And yeah, I'm reading your book. I like it. It's clever. It's actually cleverly designed. I don't know how much of a say did you actually have in that?
You mean like the physical design of
like just the way the pages are laid out and stuff like that. It adds something to the story a little bit too.
I didn't have a whole lot of input into the interior layout of the book.
Yeah.
The cover art, I had a fair bit of input into the cover art. But the design team at my publisher, Parliament House Press, they are just fantastic. They are for indie press. They are next level in terms of design that they're doing. All of their books look fantastic. They really knock it out of the park every time. But yeah, as for the interior design, the layout, I didn't really have a whole lot of input in it.
No, it's good, man. Did Ellen edit your book?
No.
Wow. Yeah, she highly recommended it. I mean, it wouldn't have shocked me, but I mean, it's dude, it's good. Like, I'll let you know what I fully think of it when it's done. I'm reading yours, and I'm finishing a Japanese life novel called The Alchemist Who Wants to Live a Quiet Life.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a big sucker for Japanese light novels. I like them. I like the fact that they're generally really easy reads, and I also like the fact that I think Japanese light novels figured out the importance of serialization, and they do it better. Like what a lot of indie authors are doing is they are on some level or another using that light novel formula, and the Japanese have been doing it for years.
Right.
Indie authors have started to do it, right? That's why you see that like that 20 books to 50K concept. Well, that if you really look at where that came back from when the Japanese were doing it with manga and anime, like when they did that way back and then, right? That's actually the first signs of it. I'm always a big fan of that format. Like I said, if the apocalypse kind of ruined my plan. Like right now, I'm writing about evil cupcakes and transgender issues in one novel and IP. Ironically, I'm tying them all together. So, yeah, I'm weird. So I mean, that's the sequel to that's Cloud Diver 2, and I'm working on that too. But I love that. I love that light novel thing. So what I do is I do a light novel, and I like taking what I call a more serious novel, like. You say Fonda Lee, say Jay Kristoff, say Veronica Roth, right? Or say let's think of somebody else. Say maybe Robert Sawyer, like somebody a book that requires a dense investment of thought as well, because it right and yeah, I'm giving you a huge compliment. Your book's really good so far. Like I said, in that vein, so. It's something I'm going to have to sit down and put a little investment, but I like kind of balancing that with something lighter. So it's almost like weightlifting. Do I want to weigh with my like really hard to my brain today, or do I just want something breezy? Right?
I thought I had written something breezy.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's quite Jade City, but it's not. You put some thought into it, man. You put a lot of thought into it.
I tried.
Yeah. Right. So it's well. Is this your first novel?
It is.
Very good first novel. It's probably better than mine. Dang it.
Yeah, it's the first novel to date. It's the only novel I've ever actually finished writing. So.
You gonna work on another one?
I'm working on a sequel right now.
Awesome.
I have a couple other projects on the go as well. Science fiction novel and fantasy series that I've been working on off and on for the last 15 years or so. But the sequel to this novel is my current focus #1 project. Which is
the way it should be.
Not going to disagree on that. So I'm hoping to finish the sequel up at some point this summer. I'm thinking hopefully towards the end of July or so we get this one finished, and then kind of move on to the next project and do something a little bit different.
So is it only 2 books, or are you looking at like more?
on sales and all that. Of course, I hate to frame it in terms of monetary return and all, but
it's business.
Nobody wants to buy the first book or the second book. There's not going to be a third. I would like to keep writing books in this series. I kind of have ideas in mind for at least 5 or 6 Isaac Barrow books, but if the sales aren't there, I might have to move on to something else sooner than I thought.
Well, it's. I mean, the reality is writing is a business. Look, I'm releasing my book in about like 15 days, right?
Yep.
Right. So now I'm hoping people buy it, but I also have to accept the reality that people might not buy it, right? Right? They might not. I think I'm gonna have support from my friends, and that's great, and that'll be a good start. And I'm hoping to get some nice reviews on Goodreads in the next week or two, right? Just to build it up, right? But like I said, I can do everything I can, and the rest is kind of like we'll see how it all rolls out, how it all plays out, and and then like I'll write one more for sure. I have 4 in mind, and I might still do all 4. But it would be like, okay, well, if the first one's not profitable and the second one's not profitable, well, then maybe I should be thinking about doing another series that might be more profitable and then come back to this as a hobby, which, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Not the worst thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. But what I really secretly hope is, the right people read it and they really like it, and then a video game company comes, hey, can we make a video game out of it? I don't want a movie. I want a video game.
I want a TV series.
Okay.
I don't want a movie. I want a TV series.
Good. Make sure the team's good. That's all I'm gonna say. Make sure your team is good.
Yeah, I mean that could really go. That could either go one of 2 ways. I've seen some of my favorite books have just ended up as just not great. But that happens in movies too.
Oh sure. No. Again, it's look. I know Christopher Paolini is going to do very well for the rest of his life. I'm sure when he watches his movie, there's a little bit inside of him that dies, because let's be honest, I can't blame him.
You know what? I never actually saw that movie.
I don't.
Never watched the movie.
Just don't.
I'm wishing I'd had that warning on a few other adaptations that I did watch and wish I could unwatch.
Yeah. I think television wise, the worst one for me was The Sword of Truth.
Didn't see that one either.
Don't.
Now the one that I keep circling back to was they did one series of the Dresden Files as a TV show, and it when it got right, it got really right, and when it got wrong, it got really wrong.
That tends to happen. Here's I do forgive. Okay, so here's the thing. I do forgive television. Television's a little bit easier to forgive for me on this sense. They have a budget. Some of the things, like I look at some of the things that are possible, right? You have to plan like your big moves, your big effects, your big like story reveal moments. Those are the things you have to budget generally the most for.
Yeah.
Right? And you're not always, and just the nature of how a book works versus how television works, some of the things in the book just do not translate. Right?
True.
Right? They just don't, right? But where I find that it tends to, so I'm a little like, I look at the movie like Stardust, for example. There are some things they did in that movie that don't fit the book, but they fit the movie, right? Because the medium dictated a certain way of telling that story, and I thought that was actually okay. You know what? I can respect where the movie is coming from here. I don't again, it's not a perfect translation or adaptation, but I get it. It's like even Harry Potter, as good as the Harry Potter movies were, they're not perfect translations, right? Scenes get cut, things get missed, because again, it's just television. The nature of the medium just does not allow for that. Right.
I'm gonna make a shocking admission here.
What?
I've never seen the Harry Potter movies.
Okay. Wow.
Yep. I'm the one. I'm the one. I meant to watch them, and I forgot.
Okay.
And there's no real reason for it. There's no reason.
It happens. I get it. It happens. Look.
Like down to watching 8 movies. Where am I going to find the time for that at this point?
Well. So I watch when they come out, like when we still could go to movie theaters. I would watch 3 movies a year. Okay. All these cool movies coming out, I see 3 of them. Right.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I have time for. That people look at me and go, "What?" I say, "I have no life. I'm being creative, and I'm working a day job, and I'm doing a podcast. Where am I going to find the time for this? Right? Right? Where am I going to find the time? And every once in a while, and God forbid, I want to go on a date. You know, I mean, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, God forbid that, right? I gotta go see these movies. You have to go. No. I like having a life. I like going on dates. I like doing things, right? You know.
You have to see all the movies, and you have to watch all of the shows. And if you haven't heard the current top 10 albums of the month, I don't know if that's a thing anymore. I don't know if that's a thing they're doing anymore.
Chris, I'm okay with not being cool. I came to that conclusion. I can't follow everybody's shit anymore. I just can't.
I tried. I put in the effort for years. I tried to keep up with everything, and
you poor soul. Now I want to give you a hug. You poor man.
Virtual hug.
Demolition Man hug. Yoing, yoing, yoing.
Yeah.
Right, the Demolition Man hug. But it's one of those things where like last year I watched Star Wars and I watched the conclusion to the Infinity War. That was good. I like that. I will never watch another Avengers movie. I've made that decision, but that was a good way to walk out on that franchise.
Those are the ones I'll keep up with those.
No. See, I won't keep up with those, and here's why I won't keep up with those. I don't want to ever have to watch 21 movies to get to the epic point ever again. I will never do that again. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll never do that again. I will watch franchise. Like, don't get me wrong. Like for example, the current version of Thor. I'll follow that. That's pretty damn cool. Right?
Right.
I like Guardians of the Galaxy. That's fun. I'm in. I'll watch those till the cows come home. Cool.
Yeah.
Right? But am I going to watch any other franchise? Maybe. There are some good ones. But I'm not going to have time for all of them. I'm going to have to pick and choose. It's much like my comic book collection. There's so many good comics out there, but really, I'm not that rich, and I'm not that much a whore. It's like I have to pick. I have to be picky, right? I have to pick what I like.
When I think back to how much I was spending on comic books 15 years ago, and where I would be at if I was still reading them regularly. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well,
the price of a floppy comic these days is just nuts.
Yeah, I still read floppy comics. I still do. Although there's no new ones coming out right now in light of this, but I'm down to a very small list. Like seriously, it's Green Lantern, it's Ninja Turtles, and like 4 or 5 other ones, and that's it. Because I still haven't quite outgrown that need for that monthly fix. But I'm at the point where it's like, you know what? I have $30.
Yeah, it's changing priorities. You know, when I was younger, I could very easily rationalize spending $100 a week on comic books, and there were many weeks that I did go do that because I was buying 15 to 20 books that were coming out every month. Sometimes they'll arrive in the same week, and yeah, you drop $100 and think about it again. But that was a young man's game. They got obligations now.
Yeah. Well, no, it'll also be an old man's game because like I'll have money and I'll have things to burn, and I'm gonna look back in my day when all the stuff I missed, and I'm gonna pick it up because I'm a nostalgia whore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll get caught up on all of them, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. There'll be a nostalgia kick.
Yeah.
Or I mean that'll be it. It's like, and even now, like for example, when Kevin Eastman came back on Ninja Turtles, I'm like, I'm in. I don't care. I don't care how bad this book is. I'm in. 104 issues later, I'm still in, right? Because this is all that child nostalgia stuff, right? So like Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a crossover. Oh, I was so in that. That was amazing, right? I was like, oh my god, this is like peanut butter and jelly. You could actually make a series list on this, right? A regular series, and I would be in every month because this actually fits well together. And that's the nostalgia kid in me that still will always dig it, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Okay, that's one. I'm Green Lantern because I've been reading Green Lantern since I was 8 years old. That's my favorite property of all time. Okay, it's 2. What else is important? Saga's nice. Saga comes back, I'm in.
Yep.
Okay, I got 3. That's it.
Yeah, the one that I miss, because I haven't really bought comics in maybe 10 years or so. The one title I really miss reading was probably Savage Dragon.
That is a cool old school comic. That is a very old school comic.
Yeah, and it's still coming out almost monthly, I think, and it's still the same writer and artist doing it from day one.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Larson has written and drawn every issue of that comic for close to 30 years now.
Yes.
Yeah, and I just found this out last week or so. I'm actually friends online with a couple of people I met in the Savage Dragon fandom back in the 90s. I just found out the title character, the dragon, died about 4 years ago, and the book is about his son now, and it's just continuing on. So, 30 years later, one day I'll go back and pick them all up. But
see, now the year nostalgia kick when you're an old man. It's like, I want to know where the Savage Dragon thing ended.
Yeah. So,
and that's cool, man. I mean, we all have that, right?
Yeah.
But as you get older, it's little things that matter more than the big things. It doesn't matter. Who cares? About much else. It's the stuff that you enjoy. It's the people you love, and the things that brought you true joy. And there's really not a whole hell of a lot else that matters.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
More and more with my family, we don't do Christmas presents anymore. We just want to have the time together. We want to have the experiences together at this point. We used to go crazy and spend hundreds of dollars on gifts for each other, and you'd get up on Christmas morning and couldn't get to the Christmas tree. There was so much stuff under it. And now, it's weird. Now we all have more money, but we want less stuff.
Well,
all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. It's funny because I'm comfortable with my own hard times made me very much a minimalist, and I don't. But again, I don't have a family to raise or to provide for. So when it's just you, right? You don't need very much. So the stuff I appreciate the most is my dad, my sister, spending time with my dad, spending time with my sister, spending time with my grandparents, right? My family. Because that's what matters. You only get that. Things come and go.
Yep.
The time you have with the people you love, you can't get that back.
No, it's once you've had that time, and once that time has passed, it is gone. And photos and videos and little keepsakes and birthday cards you agreed to hold on to, but it's not the same having the time and being in the moment.
Exactly.
It took me a long time to kind of realize that.
Yeah. That's the stuff that matters. Everything else, who cares? You can't take it with you when you die.
No.
Right?
No.
So I mean, what do you want to be known for? Were you the guy that okay, in your case, you wrote cool shit. You loved your family more than anything else in the world, and you know what? You made the most of your time with the people you cared about. That's a good life. That's a good life, man. No matter who you are.
I hope that's what they can say about me when this is all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we get out of this crazy little prison, who are you hugging?
Let's see. I hug my wife and my son every day. Who is the first person I'm going to? It'll probably be one of my coworkers.
Yeah.
Like I say, 4 weeks I've been at home and I haven't seen any of the people that I see on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, it's not something I ever really thought I'd say, but I miss going to the office and I miss seeing the people there.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. So, yeah, the first person I give a hug after this is all over, after we get back to some sort of normalcy, will probably be someone at my office. I don't know who. Maybe whoever I just happened to see the first thing on that first day back. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, okay. Just make sure you let them go gently, okay? Just don't hold a full bear hug into it, okay?
Know your limits.
No, I'm just saying, just don't get too excited. Like, oh my God, so nice to see you. Next. Yeah, right? So, but, no, man, sounds good. I think, Chris, we have an interview here. What do you think?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, just about.
Did you want to talk more about the book at all? Or?
I'm about to. I'm about to. So like I said, I've liked it. So for those people that don't really know, what's your book and what's it about and why are you so proud of it?
Well, the book is called The Nightshade Cabal. It is a paranormal murder mystery set in 1880s Halifax. Features dueling Victorian spellcasters, reanimated corpses, steam-powered carriage chases, and clunky steampunk cyborgs. And it probably sounds like I kind of practiced that pitch, but I had a lot of time with this book. I finished writing it about almost 4 years ago, and it took a while to find a publisher for it. So now that it's out in the world, and I finally get a chance to talk about it, I'm really very proud of it. Getting a book deal took longer than writing the book did, and the reviews seem to be coming back mostly positive. I've had pretty good response on Amazon and Goodreads reviews, so it's being well received, and that is really what it's all about, I think.
So, you proud of it?
Definitely. I can see a few things I might have done differently if I was writing it now, because I'm not the same writer I was when I wrote it in the first place. But I am proud of the book that it is. And it's a better book. It's a better book because of what it went through to get published. Editorial process aside, I didn't have the time to reshape it and rework it in certain ways. I got feedback from certain projections that made the book better in the long run. So the path it took to get it out into the world made it a better book, and yeah, I'm proud of it.
So I'll ask you two more questions, and then I'll let you do the official plug for the book and how can people find you. But I guess the biggest question I'm going to ask, maybe the hardest one, is what did you learn writing this book? Like from this whole process, what was the biggest thing you took away from it, and what would you advise other people with it?
Well, I'm actually going to give you two answers to that question.
Mm-hmm.
first, in terms of actual craft, the biggest takeaway that I had from this book, or writing this book, I should say, plan ahead, because I did not. When I started writing this book, I did not have an outline. I did not know what the ending was. I didn't know how the characters were going to be. I am very much answered when it comes to writing, and I almost always start a story from a character more than anything else. I'll have a character in mind, and I get all excited about it, and I'll sit down and start writing that first chapter without doing any of the groundwork that I need to do to make a proper book. So sometimes you can get away with that in a short story, but on a novel project, for me anyway, I've kind of learned that I need some sort of structure and some sort of direction before I sit down and write that first line. Maybe I can write that first line, maybe I can write that first scene, but then go back and make at least a loose point form outline or something to have some sort of roadmap to where the book is going. Because I didn't have that when I started writing this book, and there were a number of times that I kind of hit a roadblock and had to go back and rework things. It really took a lot longer than it maybe could have otherwise if I had done that kind of ahead of time. So that's one thing that I learned in terms of craft on this book. The other big takeaway from this book, and this was more to do with the road to publication, was you have to know when to walk away from something. This book sat on submission with a publisher who was interested for close to 2 years. I sent them a query. They asked for the full manuscript sample. I sent them the full manuscript. They got back to me pretty quickly and said they were interested, and even sent me a contract. And the contract was full of, frankly, predatory stuff that had no business being in a book contract. And when I asked them about it, they said, everything's open to negotiation. We'll be in touch. And it was almost a year and a half before I heard from them again. I'd sent some follow-up emails, didn't hear anything. And I just kind of kept on the line, waiting, getting older, waiting, not working on anything else, waiting. And then eventually I just decided it was time to pull the book. And that was almost 2 years later. So I probably should have pulled it sooner, and I'd have been able to find a publisher earlier and would have had the sequel out by now. Who knows? But that was the thing that I learned from that part of the process was, writing is a waiting game. There's a lot of submit and wait. But past a certain point, you got to know when to walk away. Yeah, I'd say that those are the two big things there in writing and finding a publisher.
So now I this picture of you like in like constructing this how to put this eloquently like complex tower, so you know exactly what motivates your characters through each and every situation going forward. So it'd be like, okay, this is my map. This is where we're going. Charge! And I mean, that's what I see now. You're like, you got like this like eloquent, like elaborate battle plan going. This is what I'm going to do, right? Now, hopefully you're not Wile E. Coyote. It's not an Acme battle plan, because that'd be bad. But
sometimes it feels like I've got a pair of roller skates on my feet and a jetpack on my back, but no, it's not quite like that.
Okay, it's not quite there. So it doesn't say Acme on your paper. Gotcha. Okay, good.
Not quite.
No, yeah. I always thought he should have sued Acme. They just never gave him anything that worked. Outside the Batman suit, that worked. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. The second part, yes, it's a hard, like the last. That's a hard part of the process, because you don't know. Like, okay, I give it to. My general rule of thumb is, if they're really interested, they'll talk to you at least within a few weeks, just to let you know that it's alive, right, and well. if they're not really that interested, and I mean, sometimes they are, but again, it depends on who you're dealing with, I guess. But I find like after you get to about the 3 or 4 month period, right, you got to make a decision of do you want to commit to this publisher or not. And if you don't, I think that has been my pull the plug, right? I find when people want my stuff, they tend to let me know, and when they don't really want my stuff, they also tend to let me know. What do you feel about that?
It's hard for me to really comment on that because, like I say, this first publisher did seem very interested in the outset until I kind of called them on some of the terms of their contract, and then they would send occasional messages about, we're working on revising or stuff like that. Yeah, just never. They seemed interested, and it was my first book. I kind of let myself get strung along for longer than would have if I was, an industry veteran or something. Also, I'm not gonna name names, but this publisher has been around for quite some time, and I really wanted to put a book out with them. I just really liked the idea of having my book out with them, so I was willing to wait.
Okay. So it was there's a little bit of a personal dream there.
Yeah. A little bit.
Okay. No.
Like I say, I did learn from that experience to also. Yeah, it's great to have those. What's the word I'm looking for here? Aspirations and
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it would have been nice to put a book out with them, but it wasn't the work. So
no. I mean, I know. No. It's really. I think one of the hardest things you gotta learn, like you learn as a business person, or when you're creative and running it as a business. I mean, yeah, there's some dream. So I almost ended up staying in Vancouver. I had this right before I left. I got this call for a job to write for a video game company. Not EA. Everybody listen, not EA.
All right.
Yeah, right. Not EA. And if you don't know that joke, ladies and gentlemen, it might be a good thing that you don't know that joke. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But the idea of writing video games for kids really appealed to me. It would have been a remote job, but it just didn't work. Just didn't quite work out, and I had to make a decision whether I was going to stay or go. And I had to look at this from a business standpoint. Do I wait and I hope, or do I walk away? Right? And I chose to walk away from that because I realized I could be stringing myself along for nothing. And it's a hard thing you have to realize as a business person. It's like, yeah, you know what? There are publishers I would love to work for. There are comic book companies I would love to work for. But at the same token, I mean, I gotta look strictly on a business level. I might not have a good opportunity to do those things. And what's more important, working for saying that I worked for that company, or saying that I got to work for my terms. I think for every person that's a different answer.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
but it's one, as a business person, you need to ask yourself that question honestly before you make that pitch. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Definitely. And in your case, it was a dream, so you went for it. I can't blame you for that, man.
Yep. And like I say, knowing what I know now and having been through that experience, I wouldn't wait that long on any publisher again. Maybe if I had a deal from Tor or something, I'd wait 2 years for my book to come out with that.
They would, yeah, but even then they'd let you know. You should listen to my conversation. You should listen to my conversation with Sheila, right? Yeah. Right. Sheila, it took 2 years for her to give a deal to. It took her 2 years to give Gerald Brand a contract, but they were talking to each other all the time. There was a relationship being built.
Yeah.
Right? And it sounds like here there just wasn't one. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So there's a difference. But that all said, if you ever write for Tom Doherty, man, I'll be. I'll just say I knew you win. Good luck, buddy, on that.
Yeah, I mean, shoot for the moon, land among the stars.
Hey, life's too short. Life's too short, man. You gotta think bigger. What the hell are you doing?
Yep.
So, I think your book's good. Good luck, man. Why don't you? So for those that just to wrap this up, plug the book, and how can people find you?
Well, the book, The Nightshade Cabal, is available on all ebook platforms. And actually, the publisher, Carolan House Press, has just dropped the price on their entire catalog of ebooks on all platforms. So, in Canada, my book is now $1.99 on Kindle, Kobo, Apple, Google, Nook, whatever a Nook is on the Nook. As for the print book, the only way to get it right now is actually through Amazon. Because of COVID restrictions, the distributor can't actually get shipments across the border to Canadian bookstores. So, yeah, Amazon is unfortunately the only way to get the print copy of the book. But the ebook, whatever ebook platform you use, whatever device you use, it's available and it is deeply discounted right now. So, yeah. What else was I going to say?
How can people find you?
As for finding me, I'm most active on social media. I do have a website at cpcrights.com that is very neglected and has not been updated in far too long. I really need to get up to date with the website. But social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, you will find me as CPC Rights on all of those. So Instagram and Twitter are probably my most active. It's a lot of Simpsons memes, photos of beers that I'm drinking, jokes about chicken McNuggets and stuff like that. That's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing these days. McNugget jokes.
Chris Carolan, The Nightshade Cabal. Brilliant book. I'm going to be giving it a nice review very shortly. That's a hell of a debut, Chris. You should be very proud of yourself. And there's a lot of good lessons learned from Chris listening to this conversation. I hope people picked it up, some of them. And kudos to Chris, man, enjoying your time. You deserve it for everything you're doing. Yeah, I got a lot more I could talk about, but I think for today, I think we're good. So I'm going to wrap this up by saying this was another episode of Just Josh, and thanks for listening. If you want to support the podcast, you can do so in a number of different ways. You can subscribe to the podcast. I'm on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. And pretty much anywhere there's a podcast platform, I'm there. My book, The Cloud Diver, is available now. You can go to Amazon right now to pick it up, coming soon to Kobo. Definitely take a look at some of my marketing terms. It's done very well, especially with my target of Canada. I'll explain kind of why I do that in future podcasts, but it's done well. And I want to thank everybody that's bought it. I want to thank everybody that's put support into it. It means a lot. It really does. That's a great way to support this podcast. Merchandise, jpentoresco.redbubble.com. If you've got a few extra spare dollars, want to buy a t-shirt, a mug, you can do that there. My Twitter, Instagram is jpentoresco. My YouTube channel is Joshua Pentoresco. Stay inspired, guys. It's a pleasure. All right. See you guys next time.
Josh.